Can you guys hear me in the comment section? Sounds good. Thanks, Marcos. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I truly appreciate everyone stopping by. I did think that it was unfortunate that we saw Bitcoin kind of tank down to these points that I was mentioning earlier in today's video. We have officially broken the trend line that we've been kind of trading on since July 19th. And this is very important that we recognize this right now because we have to really figure out what the next steps are for the market and where we go from here. So, man, I was really hoping we get the bounce. Things were looking decent, but here we are. Bitcoin loves to dump at night in the United States, and we all know this. There is no question about that. So, what do we got going on with Bitcoin right now? Well, we do have a very nasty little corrective wave that has formed or that is forming, I should say. And typically, when we see these corrective waves, they work like this. So we can almost kind of see that with Bitcoin right now, we are seeing this downward move, pivot point over, and it kind of looks like like a lightning bolt, right? So I am expecting Bitcoin to go down even further. We'll figure this out here in just a moment. I'm just going to let a couple more people trickle in. So before we do the whole Bitcoin spiel, if you guys have any cryptocurrencies that you want me to check out, let me know in the comments section below and we will get to those. There is about a 30-second delay from when you drop that comment to the time that I can see it. So I know Marcos, uh, the heavy hitter of the channel, along with Airborne, I see you. Carrie, George, Joshua, thanks for stopping by. Bree, do appreciate all of you guys being here. It's Friday night, right? Arkin, of course, CKB. Yep. Excuse me there, folks. I'm having a beverage. Did anybody get in on that Yokai Swap? That was nuts. I'm going to see if I can bring this up. Oh, I better get this off the screen and pull this up. I don't want to dox myself. So bear with me, folks. Yokai Swap went on a crazy, crazy run earlier tonight. And I don't know if you guys got in on this. Let me know in the comments if you guys did. But I threw about, I don't know, 1,250 bucks, about 50,000 CKB at Yokai. And this thing ran up to 50 cents. I was up 1,000 bucks. I didn't sell because I am here for the long term haul. In addition, look at some of these staking profits. So this has been staked now since 2:51 p.m. Central Time, and I've already made $12.63. So with that said, just to give you guys an idea, bear with me one second. I'm gonna pull this up because I think that oops, bear with me. I am struggling tonight, folks. I am struggling to keep this together. And just to give you guys an idea of how important this staking profit is right now, for example, bear with me one second. I have a very important phone call that I need to take. I promise you guys this will be 30 seconds. Crypto Airborne, I told you that you need to get that medicated rash cream that Marcos was talking about. Oh, hey, sorry guys. Sorry, I was talking to Crypto Airborne there. He's got some rash that's out of control. Marcos can help him out, hopefully. So, getting back to why I did not sell my yoke at 50 cents, I'm a supporter of Yokai Swap, and there, if you did sell at 50 cents, good for you. You took some profit. I That's the name of the game. We're all here to make money. I don't care what you're doing. um, I just know I'm here to make money. So I'm going to bring up the equivalent of about I don't know, $7 or $8,000 worth of crypto miner earnings. So I'm just going to do some really quick math here. What's CKB trading at right now? About 0.028, somewhere in there. All right. So to give you guys an idea, I've got 7 crypto miners going, mine in CKB. Okay. You can see I've been paid out almost 50K in the last, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months. And we can see that right now I'm getting profits on the daily of about 760 CKB, and at about 0.028 cents, that equals out to be about $21 a day I'm making off about $7 or $8,000 worth of mining equipment. So to be able to look at this and stake a relatively small amount, $1,250, I think, is what I put into Yokai. And of course, this thing is kind of thinking here. Of course, it is when I'm starting to go live. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to refresh this. You can see that I've made $12.87 in a matter of about maybe 6.5 hours. So this is yielding me more money for less investment than my crypto miners. So this is one hell of a deal. Like, I feel like I'm running $25,000 worth of crypto miners right now, just off a $1,200 investment. Obviously, the stake pool is going to go way down. When I staked my yoke, it was at I staked under the 1 million. It was like 900,000 yoke were staked, and that's when I staked. So, just to give you guys an idea of the power of some of these, um, these little farms and pools, it's incredible. So, it's pretty cool to see Yokai really succeed, and you can see I'm laying it out for you guys uh, to show you that I'm not BSing. So, with that said, now that we got a little bit more peeps in here, we are going to take a peek. Marcos Jimenez is giving out free massages with cream. And looks like George is asking how you mine CKB, alternative miners recommendations. Well, there's a couple different ways you can do this. And this is through FPGA mining, ASIC mining. Um, I know the Black Miner Mini F2, I believe, is one way. The Todd Miner, there's a few other ASIC applications out there, but by far the most popular at this point in time for CKB is simply the Gold Shell box miners. And they're ASIC miners. They do have a CK5. And no, we cannot chart yoke as of a couple hours ago. I checked, but that is kind of the way. That's kind of what is going on right now with the whole mining of CKB, is that you need to be able to access that Eagle Song algorithm. So let's get into this. We've got 36 people strong here. We can see that ADA is still holding up at $1.50. Unfortunately, with the way Bitcoin has been riding, we are seeing the price kind of retract. This thing was going so nicely. This thing was going so nicely. And then, I mean, this thing was ready for blast off. And then it just got completely hosed by Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Looks like, let's see, just looking at these comments. Sorry, guys. Just can't find anything available, or they're asking 1,500. So let me tell you this: when I got my first 2 CK boxes, it was because Gold Shell was sold out, and they were sold out for like a month, and I could never hit the right time. So what you need to, before they would sell out. So what you need to do is have an amount like a couple $1,000 in your Coinbase account, and you need to have that ready and cleared if you want to buy miners from Gold Shell. So the first 2 miners that I bought were for $1,000 each, and they were off eBay. And at the time, I was a little salty because, hey, these things are $700 on Gold Shell website. But at the same time, I'm a capitalist. Everybody's got to eat, even if it's off my dime. I get it. Profit is profit, supply and demand. So in addition to that, I went on to buy 5 more CK boxes, 4 more CK boxes, and an HS box. But I did get those for $6.99 each. So I feel good about that. And that has brought my overall average down. So let me just see here. We are going to talk about crypto, and so why auto pool instead of the manual, Bree asks. She's referring to Yokai Swap, and that is a good question. So the manual, so from my understanding, is the auto pool will automatically inject the coins that you make from Yokai Swap. So you will get a certain amount back every couple minutes. You'll accrue yoke, and this will go ahead and basically turn around and put that back in the stake pool, and it's kind of like a compounding effect. So you will get a lot more in the long run. And so Ret USA Force is absolutely correct. CK Box is bringing in about 125 coins a day. So I would say that is probably fairly accurate. Right now, I'm making about 125, 126 on really good days. You will see a CK box bring in 160 coins, depending on the amount of traffic that is going on. So somebody asked, how many CK boxes do I own? I own 6 CK boxes, and I own 1 HS box that I use to mine Sia coin or Sia coin. Just to kind of touch on Sia coin, I picked up on Sia coin about a month ago. I had no idea that it actually even really existed. It's a top 130, 40 coin. I think it's like a top 125 coin. And here's a chart of it right now. In addition, this is kind of, in a way, similar to Nervous Network. It pretty much thrives off of cloud storage, stuff like that. Furthermore, we do have a decentralized internet called Skynet that is being built upon Siacoin in that respect. So if you guys know anything about the internet, basically a search engine like Google, for example, what does Google need to do to be successful? They need to basically just copy the internet. So everything and everything gets copied with uh, you know, on the internet, and will need to be stored somewhere. And Sia Coin is going to be that place where they get stored. So by default, we're going to see a lot of data get used up, a lot of coins get used up with respect to that. So I do think that Sia Coin is on to good things. Kadena was miners were cheap. I do remember when they were 700, and now they actually just jacked the price up to $3,700, $3,600 for a Cadena box miner. And we're not even talking about the big KD5s. Those are going for like 40 or 50,000 right now. So yeah, so feel good green. I'm making about 22 to 20. I think I'm closer to 28. The last few days have been kind of slow. So I'm not sure, Bree. I ended up buying into the IDO. Consequently, I ended up with about 250 yoke, which is not much. And then I just bought about 4,000 more yoke or something like that. So for me, I just ended up exchanging CKB or swapping CKB for yoke. Let's see here. Does anybody else? Kadena box is now there. Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? So here's the deal. Um, if we see CKB's price fly, we're going to see the value of these CK boxes go way up. Excuse me. Joshua Kennedy says, "Where's Bitcoin going?" I think we've got enough people in the chat now to really explore this. And so here we have Bitcoin. Like I was kind of telling everybody else earlier on in the feed, that we have a trend line violation. And we can see that this trend, even though we have violated this line here from, bear with me, July 20th, we can see a clear violation of this line. I do think that at this point in time, with these types of bearish engulfing candles, we are picking up some downward steam. And I do think that we will end up close to this $46,000 level. There might be some little intermediary stops, like 48,000. You can see that we're hung up on this 52.5 level. So if that does fail, I do think that we'll come down for a test of this 200 moving average. So with that said, we'll get into some more of these questions here in just a moment. But with that said, that is kind of what's going on with Bitcoin right now. But there is a small caveat to this, and this is the coronavirus crash. And if we really draw this trend line down here, we can see that we are still pretty much on track. And Bitcoin really is coming down to test this other trend line in a grand scheme of all things. And this is something that you're not going to see a whole lot of other people show you. And this is, so with that said, if we are able to bounce off this trend line, and this is a very strong trend line, okay? This has been, price action has been on top of this trend line since March of 2020. Think about that. There's not a lot of other cryptocurrencies out there where you can say that, hey, this has been on this same trend line the whole ride up. We've seen a lot of volatility ever since April, May. We all know this. We've all been on this roller coaster together, right? And so uh, this is something that keeps me up at night, to be honest with you guys, is that we might be seeing one of the biggest plays in Bitcoin history to the upside. And I don't think that anybody really understands the power of what could happen if we do, in fact, get a bounce here. We are going to see. Yeah, I don't know if there's a dark mode on TradingView Airborne. So I'm not sure. But it would be nice because my eyes are about burned out right now. But back to Bitcoin, we could almost argue here, folks, that hey, guess what? There is an ascending triangle forming on a grand scale if we get the bounce, and this is only pending that we get the bounce and kind of fling through and head up here. So when you start hearing about these people talking about these $150,000 Bitcoin price targets, this is how we're going to get there by an ascending triangle such as this. And this would almost make sense too, because you could almost argue that if this does happen, we will be seeing a mega cup and handle occur. And don't mind this little area in here, because this is a possibility for Bitcoin to go up. But I want you guys to understand that this is very speculative. The whales know exactly how to be whales, and they will remind you of this every chance they can take. So, with that said, folks, really, we need to pay attention and close attention to Bitcoin every second for the rest of this weekend, probably into the next 3 to 4 days. And this is what I'm going to guess is going to happen. We've got a nice corrective wave that has played out or probably come down and test this little trend line here, somewhere around this $51,500 level. But if we start to see some sort of symmetrical triangle forming off the end of this thing into next week, you better believe that there is a chance that we are going to see a retest of this 200 moving average, quite possibly. So, even though the market sucks the last couple days, there is kind of a double-edged sword within this whole situation. Maybe we will see, this price come up and condense and squeeze to move up to the next level. A lot of people are not convinced that the bear market is here. And with this recent price reaction, I mean, I can't help but to think that maybe they're right. So, with that said, big shout out to Rhett USA for us. Thank you, brother or sister. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. And we will look at CKB next, because we have about 55, 56 people in here from what I can tell. Let's see here. Peter, if you click airborne testicles, then he goes dark. Absolutely. Probably. Yeah, he's probably squinting at the screen. Let's see. Click the top left 3 lines, but I'm down. Nope. I am not going to do that. Absolutely not. I like this bright ass light, and we are going to look at CKV next. So here we go, folks. Bear with me. I'm parched. I do need to take a sip of my whiskey. It's helping my headache today. So we can see that CKB, not really what I wanted to see out of this. I'm just being honest here. But CKB is really grinding it out. We are still sitting really good as far as I can tell. We haven't taken the biggest hit like I thought we would, with the kind of just the panic that I've been seeing in the market today across some of the social media. It appears that we are still kind of trading within this trend line, but looks like we are at about 0.027. So we are down here somewhere in this candle wick. So let's just look at this on the 1 hour. So you can definitely see this breach of this trend line, and we are setting up so nicely, guys. I mean, we're setting up so nicely. We had the ascending triangle forming. We were ready for blast off. Everything was kosher. And then this went and happened. But there has been a lot of instances where CKB has really kind of scam wicked down and then pulled back up. And we can see several instances of this, even right through here, right here. And here we are seeing it again. Do I think that CKB might be heading lower? Possibly. And we might be kind of blowing up this, this ascending triangle a bit. But at the end of the day, the only thing to me that matters with CKB right now is that we do not violate this high. Because as of this point, we can see that these lows are getting higher. Sure, we broke this here, but if we start to break these previous lows, that means we have a clear trend reversal that is in play. And that is not good because we are then not making that forward progress that we want. So let's just see what people are saying in the comments section. What do we got here? No problem, John. No problem at all. Happy to have you all here. I feel like we're doing some sort of premiere right now with everybody in here. Drop me your favorite crypto or your biggest bag that you're holding, and we will go ahead and review the crypto here live. End of year prediction for CKB and Yoke. That's a good question. Um, I was kind of talking with a few other people on this tonight. CKB, I mean, man, is as long as we can make some sort of recovery here with CKB, I do think that we'll be fine, and we may be able to maybe retest those all-time highs by the end of the year. It's possible. I do think that if we can get some sort of reversal to the upside and return to at least test this 3 cent level within the next 3 days, 5 days, that will still be on the table. But like I said, if you see CKB kind of trading down, I don't know, this 0.024, 0.023 ish or lower area, man, it's going to be rough riding to say the least. 100%. So let's just look at CKB now that we've got a nice full chat room. I don't know what you call this, a live stream room. I mean, if you look at this, things aren't that bad with CKB. We're still within the upward trend. Let's just hope that Bitcoin gets its bearings and we can see this thing fill out for a nice bounce off the shoulder. Back on the 6th, somewhere in there, I was kind of telling everyone, so hey, anticipate a long sideways trade here. And this is just exactly what's happening. So we're seeing a lot of indecisiveness still within these candles, which is a good thing. So my end of the year prediction with CKB, that's complicated. So if this thing goes south, let's just say, knock on wood, Bitcoin doesn't do this, but Bitcoin goes south. We're talking down to 25, 30, 40,000. I think we're going to see a heavy retracement of CKB down to maybe back down to these penny levels, penny and a half, 2 cents. As much as it pains me to say that, that is a possibility. That 2 cent level is kind of eyeing up CKB if the market really tanks hard. Yoke, that's a good question. Depending on how much support Yokai Swap gets, I think that this coin has a very good chance of being successful, and that's why I sunk, $1,250 in it at 7 cents a coin. So just think of Yokai Swap, folks. Okay. So here's the best way to think of Yokai Swap. I don't have an answer to the end of the year price tag because I don't know and I don't really feel comfortable uh, trying to guess that without like a chart or something like that. So the thing with Yoke, so we got to understand that Yokai Swap. Bear with me 1 second here, folks. So Yokai Swap. Bear with me 1 second again. I do apologize. Let me know in the comment section if you guys bought Yokai Swap today. So with Yokai Swap, we can see that current price is at about 36 cents, which is pretty cool, right? So I do think that right now, I think there's what, um, 10 million coins that are out there. We do have about roughly a $1 billion market cap when it comes to 10 million coins. Think a $1 billion market cap would bring us up to about $1. So, with that said, we have to think about all the exchanges that Nervous Network is going to connect to, all the other cryptocurrency blockchains that Nervous Network is going to connect to. So, let's say that Sunday Swap gets up and running on Cardano. Well, we're going to be connected to Cardano. So all of the Cardano users will be able to flood into the Nervous Network ecosystem. They'll be able to use Yokai Swap with no problems at all. So I do think that right now, obviously, the bigger juggernaut of cryptocurrency is obviously Cardano, and rightfully so. They've got a great following. They've got great leadership over there, and I do know that it's a very well respected cryptocurrency, and that has led it to a $48 billion market cap. So, how many billions do you think are going to flow into Yokai Swap once Cardano gets their act together with Sunday Swap, things like that? There's a good chance we're going to see some money flow. And then you have to think about all the other crypto ecosystems that Nervous Network is going to connect to. It's insane. It's insane to think about. So, we are talking about some huge money flow in the future uh, through Nervous Network to Yokai Swap and some of these other uh, cryptocurrencies that are featured on Yokai Swap. Force Bridge, yes. So I do think, let's just say, uh, 50 cents would put Yokai Swap at $500 million market cap. We were there a few hours ago, and $1 billion market cap, with Yoke, I don't think that's really out of the question. I think maybe 5 to 10 in due time as Nervous Network really connects. I mean, I think it'd be really easy over the next year or so to 5 to 20x. Not financial advice or anything like that. So thank you for joining, Rhett. I do appreciate you being here. So now we're going to take a look at, if you're still here, Rhett, we will go over, Sheeb. We'll go over Sheeb for you, since you're here. If you're still here, hopefully you are. Shiba Inu. Let's look at this, right? So what are we seeing with Sheeb? Let's look at this thing on like a daily chart. Where is it? Here we go. And we can see that Sheeb Sheeb could be in trouble here. So on the daily chart, it's never a good thing to see this price action transition through the Ichimoku cloud. This is just bad. Uh, it's very tough for price action to hop back out of the cloud rapidly. So, with that said, there could be a chance that we see Sheeb come down a little bit further to test this 200 moving average that is kind of setting up. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Sheeb lose some more value. However, there is a little bit of support right at this. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this 403557. And this would be the area that I would love to see Sheeb, if it can hold on, try to pass through. This is a very easy weak spot in the Ichimoku cloud to pass through. So I do think that right now, uh, Sheeb, it's kind of gone through this ABCDE corrective pattern from what I can tell. Let's just kind of look at this a little bit more. Bear with me 1 second, folks. So, I mean, I guess one could argue, man, that this would be some sort of an ABCDE corrective wave to the downside. Price is kind of resetting. We do have some sort of symmetrical triangle that is forming, but we can kind of see how this bearish candle is forming. So this is why I think that we may come down, and I think, 0.00000295 ish, somewhere in that area would be the next step down, and that's on par with this last leg up here. So, with that said, Sheeb, it's not going anywhere. People love the thing. I like Sheeb. I don't have any problems against coins that can quite frankly make uh, as much progress as it has. So let's look at another one, and let's just go ahead here quick to let me just do one other thing. Man, this was looking so good. I thought we were going to get another leg up here. I was going to say there could have been a possibility for some Elliott wave theory, but let's look at let's see here. Let's look at VVS. I've had people blowing me up on this lately. VVS. Man, I'm just not seeing it. Unless it's let's see here. Yeah, there's just nothing. What's the name of VVS? What's the name of that cryptocurrency? I can type that in. We'll look at Voyager token next here. So bear with me one second here while we pull Voyager up. And so Voyager token is in this unique situation where man, we were setting up so nice for this bounce off this cloud. I thought that we were going to see this thing really kind of rocket off and bounce off the shoulder, come up and test some new highs. But with the way Bitcoin is kind of playing its games, this may in fact come down to retest this 50 moving average. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw a $3.88 VGX here in the coming days if Bitcoin keeps its act up. So that's kind of where we're at with VGX, and I just want to measure one thing here. Okay, so I was gonna basically see where VGX was. It looked like it could be around the 61.8 or the 786. So this $3.97 level, I think that we'd see a scam wick down to that $3.88 level though. But I do think that right now we are gonna see VGX come down and test the 786, which is a very common reversal point in the market. But if Bitcoin's sailing like a brick to the bottom of the ocean, we are, in some trouble. Big shout out to Crypto Airborne, the donation of the night. It looks like minus 99 cents. Like I'm paying you. Face with steam from nose. Yeah, I know, buddy. Let's see here. Also curious to see, what do you all think caused the liquidation? That's a good question. I just think that a lot of it revolves around just natural cycles in the market. We saw the stock market tanking. I do think that there's a lot of people concerned with the new variant of the coronavirus. ARAM, we're gonna look up your ADA here, so don't go to sleep just yet, bro. I do think that there's a lot of different reasons why, but the one, the narrative being pumped in the media is pretty much the new variant, and by now we're all used to and worn out by the whole coronavirus thing, that I think as these new variants come out, we're just reacting less and less and less and less. I'm not here to preach any positions on the variant, or what your positions are. I don't care. We're here connected through crypto, and that's all that matters, and that's all we need to know. So right now, ADA is still looking good. Drink that Red Bull up. I got about probably a lethal amount of caffeine in my body at this point in time of the day. So, back to business. Cardano, ADA. The other day, I drew up this Gartley pattern, and this was super high level. And we could see that I was able to kind of predict that, okay, this is the bottom. And then we saw the bottom happen here. And then everything was on the up and up, right? We start seeing price start climbing through this cloud, and then the market crashes. So I do think that right now, let's go ahead and just throw up this here. I do think $1.48 might be on par with Cardano if Bitcoin obviously is getting real nasty. The next stop, I hate to say this, I really do. $4. That's the golden ratio, the 161/8. I'm hoping that we don't see that though, because that is a significant setback in the grand scheme of things. But we can definitely see this A B C D E corrective wave that hit, and if this is another cycle, heading downwards, it wouldn't surprise me to see these levels. The thing with Cardano, folks, is that you have to understand that while they are, a very well respected cryptocurrency, I like Charles. I think everybody does. How could you not like him? He wants the best for the world, and that's very respectable. But the thing is, Nervous Networks out here with a DAO, and Cardano isn't. So, I mean, they need to get this DAO up and running as soon as possible so their users can really flourish and start trading crypto on the blockchain. That's what needs to happen for Cardano. They need to get a few other things in order. And I do think that they are getting there with some of the tweets I've been seeing as well. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, ARAM. And I do appreciate your time and everybody else being here. So looks like we are going to look at, bear with me, folks. I'm just looking through the comments here. So we are going to take a quick peek at, I did see somebody with VeChain, VET. I did a video on this the other day. Shoot. So VeChain is right up in there with a lot of these other cryptos where we were looking good. I mean, we're looking, and we'll look at Komodo here in a second, Marcos, for sure. But VeChain was looking freaking good, and I was thinking that we might be able to bounce off this lower trend line of this Fibonacci channel. And you can kind of see what happens when we bounce off this lower trend line. Price action reacts really nicely. And I mean, even from here, we saw VeChain go from a penny up to 26 cents. That's a 27x. It's incredible. So, in the grand scheme of things, we are seeing VeChain in a compromised position. Let's just look at this on the daily chart. Yeah, this is not good. Not good at all. So let's look at where this thing could possibly go to. So right now we're being held up solely by the 786. Again, this is a very common point for price action to kind of come down and hang up. A lot of day traders will ride or die off the 50 and the 61.8. And I've talked to you guys about this before, and I've learned this in over 30 years of trading. I was trading when a lot of you guys were in diapers, and I was in diapers myself, trading just through the people that I was exposed to. But with that said, I can remember people around me making calls to their exchange, and they would use a different method. They didn't have this fancy chart work and stuff like that. But I do know that back then, they could run a little bit of basic Fibonacci and things like that. And a lot of these day traders would buy at the 50% level and make a damn good living at it. But the rule of thumb was to buy the dip at the 61.8. That way, if it dips again, you're not hurting as bad as if you would have bought at the 50% level. So 786, let's just hope that V chain can hold up at this 10-cent level, because if it can't, it's on down to the 8-cent level. Now let's look at Komodo. This is a favorite of mine, and I do think that it's undervalued. Man, Komodo was on a rip the other day. Um, Look at this wick. 98 cents up to a dollar 68. Man, oh man, what a nice sign. And we can see that Komodo, I've done several videos on this over the last probably month or two. And we can see that Komodo has incredible support right at this 85-cent line, folks. But we can see that in addition to this, the lows are getting higher. And by default, we have a very nice little ascending triangle up to uh, this 23.6 extension line. We can see this. We can see the possible ascending triangle that could be forming here. And when this thing rips off, I do think that Komodo is going to make a very steep climb, kind of like it did back in here. And in fact, we can kind of see very similar price structure, you know, to right here. I mean, it looks a lot alike. So I think that Komodo is still sitting good right now. We are trading at a dollar two, which is depressing after seeing it at a dollar 68 the other day. So my guess is that this is either some sort of scam wick, or people just took advantage of this spike and sold. Obviously, they did. So I do think that if you see Komodo trading lower than 90 cents, we've got problems. We really do, because we really want to see Komodo trade within this little ascending triangle that could possibly be forming here. So Komodo's still looking good. Like I said, it's below 90 cents. We may have issues. What else do we got here? Woo Network. Okay, I like that. Woo. Reminds me of the Ric Flair meme that I posted tonight. Woo Network. Here we go. Okay, I've never heard of this. I don't know anything about it. I don't know squat. So Woo Network. Let's really get a good look at this, because okay, so we had some chop down here. Very nice climb. So this thing went from 50 cents up to not bad, $1.80. I like it. And then we have seen this intense downfall. And let's see here. We will look at JASMINE here next. So the one thing that I don't like about this setup right now on Woo Network, quite frankly, is that, excuse me, this thing looks like we are going into some sort of symmetrical triangle. This is not good when you see a bare leg like this. Usually it's an indication that the previous trend will continue to the downside. However, I'm not aware of where this 200 moving average is, because TradingView has not picked it up. I don't know how new this coin is, and TradingView has picked this coin up on August 30th. So 200 days hasn't even passed. So let's look at a 12-hour chart. Not even anything on the 12. So it's about 6. Yeah, so you can see there was a death cross that happened here. And this is just a 6-hour chart. So the shallower the chart, the more often we'll see this type of behavior. So we've got a death cross, which is not good to see. But on the 6-hour chart, it may not be the biggest deal in the world. So this definitely looks like some sort of corrective wave to the downside. How far of a correction are we looking at? Man, that's a good question. So we can try to figure this out. There is some support around this 82-cent level, but If we do lose this support, it looks like we could not hold the 61.8, and now we are in a free fall. It wouldn't surprise me to see this thing maybe get hung up around the 73 cent level. Um, Really, the next point below that, 65 cents. So those are going to be some key points to really look at with Woo the next few days to weeks. I wish I had more data, like on a 12-hour to a daily chart to help you out with this one. We'll go to Razor protocol. Okay, so this looks like something. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So let's look at this. These poor investors have been suffering greatly with Razor. I don't know anything about this coin either. But apparently, it looks like there may be a bottom or some support kind of right where it's at. I don't know how much lower this thing can actually go, but there is kind of a unique pattern that we're seeing here in a grand scheme of things, and that's called the descending triangle. So we're seeing this descending triangle right now, and usually, if we have some solid support here, we will see a nice bounce out of this descending triangle. How much we will see? That's a great question, because let's try to figure that one out. This thing could bounce up to this 0.00000363 ish level. But this is not something that I would be interested in really trading, just because I simply don't know anything about it or anything like that. So I do think that there may be a potential for a bounce just based off this descending triangle. Rug pull Wednesday coin. Yeah, we can look at that. I think it got disconnected. So that was, bear with me 1 second here while I just grab the ticker. I do so many cryptocurrencies, it's hard to keep up even with my own stuff. So that was Kiba Stable Capital, folks. And these poor people got hosed. Well, this is not the right one. Kiba Inu. Kiba Stable Capital. And so, yeah, this thing really hasn't moved, and it's technically trading at zero because it's disconnected from, I think it was Uniswap is where they were connected to. And I think they pretty much shut them down after this big rug pull happened. But this was a video that I featured on a series called Rug Pull Wednesdays. So every Wednesday, if you guys are interested, I am doing what's called Rug Pull Wednesday. And that's kind of where we go over and try to find some of these scam coins that are currently operating. And we're just trying to basically come up with ways that we can identify that there are potential scams and that we might be gearing up to maybe lose some money. So with that said, it's definitely something to be on the lookout for. So if you see this thumbnail popping up in the uh, you know your search results and you're interested in this, feel free to give it a click. But yeah, Kiba Stable Capital is definitely scamming. And so Jasmine, I'm getting there, man. Jasmine. Jasmine. Let's hope that it's here. Jasmine to the US dollar. No, crypto airborne is going crazy right now. So let's see what Jasmine is up to. And then I think this will be the last one. We'll look at we'll look at OHM. We'll look at this one. This will be the last one. Jasmine looks like this thing has really come down pretty heavy. We'll look at helium after this, and that's it. But there might be some sort of um, there may be some sort of Wyckoff pattern here, and there may in fact be some sort of spring that is happening. That's not financial or trading advice, by the way. But let's just look at this, and I'm interested to see. Okay, so I was interested to see if uh, price action was hovering around this 127 area, which it kind of is. So if we see Jasmine run lower, look for this 14.5 cent level. But there is a halfway decent chance that we might see a reversal very shortly on Jasmine, possibly. I don't know anything about it. So I wish I could offer more advice. This is such a newer coin that's picked up by TradingView that I don't even have a 200 moving average on the 4 hour chart. So I hate making longer term predictions off like the 1 hour chart because things change so much. But with what I'm seeing here, it wouldn't surprise me to maybe see a wick down to this 14.5 cent level. So we'll look at OHM quick. So OHM, is this Olympus Inu? Oh boy. Is this the right one? Uh, So let me know in the comments. Somebody requested OHM Feel Good Green. Let me know what if this is the correct one. Olympus, is this what you're looking for? We'll look at helium while we wait for that answer quick. Helium is suffering. I do think that this is a great project, though. I do know a lot of people that are interested in helium, including myself. So, with that said, um, I have some projects going on with helium that involve putting antennas on the top of skyscrapers in pretty large metropolitan areas because we have security clearances to get there to the top of these buildings. So, with that said, we can see that um, that helium is on a little bit of a downfall. Let's just kind of measure this up. And we can see that we are kind of right in this 127 area. I want to look at this thing on a grand scale. So here we are. So when we look at this on a grand scale, we can see that helium is barreling towards this 50% level, which is $30. $30.50 roughly. Wouldn't surprise me to see helium come down and bounce off this 50% level if Bitcoin keeps getting nasty, $23.40. I do think that right now, $30.50 could possibly be on the way with helium. Um, and that kind of makes sense because we did have a little bit of support and resistance in this area here. So with that said, 2650, 2350 are going to be the next support levels for helium. And let's get back to Olympus Dow. So OHN, I believe that was, or ONH. There you go. Olympus Dow. I think this is it. Olympus. Is this right? Let's see here. So let's see here. I'll do this. I'm trying to think. I just want to make sure I get the right coin. Usually I like to look at this stuff based off the USD. I think we're just going to have to go with the wrapped ETH. So let me know in the comments section if Olympus is trading at 15 cents. But you can see that this thing's been very erratic, up and down. Man, this is pretty incredible to see. I'm curious to see at what point do we think that there might be a reversal point around this 8.5, 9 cent level, which is kind of right through the middle of this double bottom here. But there was a very nasty head and shoulders pattern that formed with Olympus, and that led to its downfall. And consequently, we are seeing some corrective waves. So I do think that the next stop for Olympus quite possibly could be this 127 level. And if we go ahead and measure kind of off of these bottoms here, we can see something very similar where price retraced down to this 127% level here. So I do think that there might be some blood to shed with Olympus Dow right now. Not financially trading advice right here, because we could also be seeing an inverse head and shoulders if the market suddenly corrects. So this thing, we just never know, right, folks, what Bitcoin can do. So with that said, I've got to wrap this up, guys. I do appreciate all of you being here. This was only intended to be a 20-minute live stream that turned into a 1 hour live stream. So I'm very tired. I got to get some sleep. But I'll try to do another live stream at some point in time this weekend for those of you that didn't get your cryptocurrencies, you know, previewed here. We'll go over those. So, Crypto Airborne, my man Marcos, thanks for moderating. A big shout out to all of those guys and all of you as well for being here. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more TA.